The following contest is a tag team match scheduled for one fall.
All right, a personal issue that's erupted over professional disagreements, and everybody's got an opinion in 2019. Everybody thinks they know better than everybody else, but this particular version of that debate has gotten quite physical over the past several months.
Physical and personal, to say the least.
The business is intact.
Joe, you know how this could have been all avoided and not been physical and personal?
How's that?
If you listen to the business.
Let's see. Well, the business
is about to pick up in Premier Championship Wrestling. Sless Taylor, your flipping days are over.
Well, the business thinks that they have a right to tell you how to wrestle and not wrestle, what you should like, what you shouldn't like, the different styles people are and aren't allowed to use, just because they have an opinion about it and the way they were brought up, or the way that works for them. They think they can dictate to everybody else how they live their lives too.
The problem is everybody has an opinion, but the bigger problem is not everybody's is right. The business is right. You gotta learn.
Let's see.
I've known Nate Mattson a long time, Bruce Gray a long time, as have I. Have they ever been wrong? No, exactly.
Well, I'm not so sure if I'm gonna say that.
And Ohio, weighing in at 203 pounds, Sless Taylor. And his next opponent, weighing in at 177 pounds,
LSD, Lenny Dimas, we've seen a time or two before in Premier. A last-minute substitution here teaming with Sless Taylor. Sless's tag team partner, the Puerto Rican Pitbull, is not here this evening. Family emergency. We wish him all the best, but Sless Taylor showing some of that acrobatic agility that the business has rallied against.
Well, you gotta put it in line, and well, as they accost people at ringside. LSD, I believe he was at the Woodstock concert for, was at the Woodstock concert where Ashton Day performed.
Is that so?
Yes. I believe Ashton Day reiterated that a few times, too.
How old do you think people are?
It's all relative.
Nothing relative about Nate and Bruce's opinions to these ringside fans.
You know, the people could learn something, too. It's not just for the young wrestlers of today. The people could learn a lesson or two from Nate Mattson. I said earlier, if I had a child, I would want him to be like Sonny Vice. If I had a child, and I don't that I know of, I would want them to learn from the business.
See, you don't think it's important to teach them to be individuals and think for themselves and do what makes them comfortable? They just follow the leader blindly?
They can be individuals that think for themselves, and as long as that thinking is the thought of the smartest people in the room, then I have no problem with that.
See.
Well, the smartest man in the ring right now is Nate Mattson.
Well, Sless has gone up against Bruce Gray and Nate Mattson in individual competition. I believe he split those matchups with those two particular athletes. And this is going to be the rubber match. Nate Mattson and Bruce Gray have said, Sless, your flipping days are over. It's time to listen to the business, whether you want to or not.
Well, that's a smart stand to take. I mean, flipping ain't easy. Somebody's got to do it, but not here in Premier Championship Wrestling as long as the business has their say.
Yes, the best reserved trapeze artists and the gymnasts out there, and doesn't have a place in the wrestling ring. That was a hell of a counter, admit that.
Well, it was a hell of a counter, and now, but it's nice to hear you make a little bit of sense for a change.
And I'm quoting you, I'm quoting the likes of Bruce and Nate. I have nothing against what Sless Taylor does, and Sless is bringing some physicality as well. He's not out here flipping for style points. He's out here trying to win and shut up his critics.
Back when our 16th president, Abraham Lincoln, was wrestling, he wasn't doing flips.
Have you seen any footage to validate that?
No, but it's hard to do flips in a giant hat.
He's also, what, about 6'5"? He didn't have washboard abs like Sless Taylor, I don't think. Headlock by Nate.
I just want to point out that Joe Dombrowski is comparing the abs of our 16th president Mr. Abraham Lincoln. You got any insight on Jonathan Taylor? Wow. I'm just going to stop. Next.
You're more built like Taft. In any event, it's Sless Taylor circling Mattson once again. And I think Sless has done a great job of holding his own thus far. Takeover by Mattson. Sless Taylor, the head scissor to counter. And notice Sless showcasing he's got a ground game as well. It may not be where he lives and dies out there, but you know what? You want to build a house, you have a solid foundation, and Sless was brought in the right way. Let's not mistake that as Bruce Gray tries to illegally aid Mattson.
Trying to help a friend. And Sless Taylor does have a great ground game, and I'd like to see him utilize it a little bit more. There's a time to flip, there's a time to fly, there's a time to laugh, and there's a time to cry. And all those could happen very well in this tag team matchup.
And there's a time to every purpose under heaven. Turn, BC Steel. The bottom line is, Sless Taylor is hoping that maybe he can turn over a new cheek when it comes to the business and show them that there's nothing wrong with what Sless Taylor does, who comes back with a headlock of his own, nicely done.
We can see Nate Mattson kick some cheek. He is apt to do. Not in control right now, but Nate Mattson always playing the chess game that is professional wrestling. Pride of Michigan, responsible for some of the names that many people would know.
Well, Mattson's been a mentor, trainer, an ally, or an opponent of just about anybody that's come out of Michigan, but Sless Taylor coming out hot with that drop kick right to the face of Nate Mattson, but Nate with a knee. Notice Sless tried to quicken the pace. Mattson shuts things down, but Sless is waiting for True Grit Bruce Gray, the master of the DDT.
Nobody does it better. Obviously, Bruce Gray nursing an injury right now. Smart of Sless to take advantage. I'll give the kid credit.
What happens if Sless gets caught in the DDT in this matchup?
Well, if it's DDT, it's going to be 1, 2, 3 for the business, and LSD ain't even going to get a chance to get in the ring. Which I wonder if he knows where he's at.
Sure, I tell you, okay by you.
Well, a team with a lot of letters in them.
Tag into Lenny Dimas. And you want to talk about a free spirit? Somebody that lives life their own way without restrictions?
Oh, aerial maneuver. Bottom rope is okay, by the way.
Oh, so now you're on the side of Lemmy and Sless.
That's a John Quincy Adams one, since we're bringing up random presidential references. I'm not on the side. What do you... No.
You just vouched for him.
Well, the bottom rope is fine. That's where you get the middle rope, and nobody's going to the top rope. Bill Watts ain't having that.
Lemmy drops down, trips up Bruce. This is unconventional. Inverted atomic drop, nicely done. And charging in with a body attack. And you know what? LSD's a bit quicker, a bit more agile than maybe Bruce and Nate would like. Check that out.
LSD will do that to you sometimes.
Twisting around, having an experience right in the middle of the ring. And I believe collided head first with Bruce Gray.
Well, we know who took the worst of that one.
Bruce Gray having a bad trip. Down off the airplane spin. Boots off the bottom rope. Look at this. 2 count only. And I think LSD is showing an even different perspective of Sless Taylor's side of the argument. And Mattson bails out his buddy. Oh, double clothesline.
I was about to say this, but LSD didn't. He got high enough going off the bottom rope.
There you go. He may have been high enough before he got to the curtain, but be that as it may, Nate Mattson now taking things over.
It's what I said earlier in the evening. Great tag team wrestling. You cut off part of the ring from your opponent, and that's what's going on right now.
LSD. Mattson went to the eyes.
And there's the business.
That's Nate Mattson's viewpoint of the business. So flying off the top rope is bad, but jamming your thumb in somebody's eye, that's A-okay.
Looks way more effective.
DDT coming up, this will do it.
Joe, it's over. Ring the bell.
Dimas grabbing onto the leg, countering any way he can. And Bruce gonna switch strategies. Lemmy Dimas not softened up enough yet to count only. Mattson. Uppercut to the outside. Sless Taylor being baited in by Bruce, and Nate Mattson with the amazing knee.
See, now that's where Sless Taylor should go, man.
Is that so?
Yes, that's where these young kids need to know, man. Beautiful positioning of the referee by Bruce and Nate.
And Bruce gets a drop kick nicely done. No respect for Sless Taylor once again. Again, Nate and Bruce just looked down on the likes of Lenny and Sless, and everyone liked them. Everyone who has the same style. It's because they're different. It's because they're unconventional.
What kind of a name is Lenny?
I think Mr. and Mrs. San Dimas were necessarily Rhodes Scholars.
I'm sure they were something. They may have been at Woodstock, too.
Maybe it's short for Leamington. I don't know. There's a sunset flip. And Mattson drops the leg. Beautifully done. Can't take anything away from Nate Mattson's technical prowess or his precision. But a near fall as San Dimas kicks out. And spitting on Sless Taylor. It's amazing, just no pun intended, how much they look down on Sless and Lemmy. And how holier than thou they are about their views of pro wrestling.
Well, it's not holier than thou when you're right. It's holier
Who
than
says they're right? It's opinion.
Well, I'm one.
Sless has beaten one of them before. Sless has beaten a lot of guys before. And Nate and Bruce aren't undefeated. I got news for you.
Well, with flips, and we both know the danger of flips and flops and flies. I'm going to say that 5 times fast.
Yeah, it is dangerous. But if you're willing to take that chance and it pays off, that could mean a victory for you. That's up for personal choice whether you take a chance or not.
Guys like Lemmy and Sless Taylor should be thankful.
Check out the illegal leverage. Mattson hanging on to Bruce in the abdominal stretch. They had so much torque, Nate let go. Bruce almost collapsed.
You should be thankful there's veterans like this that are willing to share their knowledge. Some veterans sit in the locker room and won't say to anybody. They have that look on their face where they turn their nose at people. These are 2 guys trying to help the youth.
Trying to talk down and dictate to people.
No, trying to help the youth of the generation, this new generation of kids.
Well, this assisted abdominal stretch isn't going to help anybody but themselves.
The key is the
Sless sees it, but the official hasn't yet. Lemmy! Bruce broke the grip and Lemmy found an opening.
Well, Lemmy's far, far away. If he's going to need a hell of a lot more than an opening.
Lemmy needs to take a spiritual journey to his corner. Oh, no!
Oh, there's an opening. Oh, that's a great opening, Joe.
Lemmy sent right into Sless. I think Sless hit his head off the guardrail, and Mattson with a takedown.
Boo-hoo.
Business is good!
Miscommunication there.
Joe, business is good.
Oh, I'm so glad.
Celebrate with me.
I would, but I have a job to do if you don't mind. Nate tags Bruce back in.
I'll celebrate for the both of us. Hey, look on the positive side. Now, Sless doesn't have to keep trying to get in the ring. So you got to find the silver lining.
Bruce dropping a series of elbows.
Or the multicolored lining and pink elephants, whatever LSD has been seeing.
The leg, high cover for 2.
Where's Sless now, huh?
It is 2-on-1 at this point. Sless Taylor has been neutralized on the outside. He may have hit his head. It is Lemmy San Dimas on the receiving end of a business beatdown.
Receive a few business beatdowns in mine. They're brutal. Not from Mr. Gray and Mr. Mattson, but...
Clothesline. LSD breaks free and the business collides with one another.
Well, Joe, now we've got no business in the ring. We need half business.
Well, maybe the business is closed on Saturdays. I don't know. LSD's got an opportunity though.
Well, Saturdays are for the boys, and Saturdays are also for the business.
Here comes Sless. The dreaded double noggin knocker. That's a hell of a way for Sless to rebound into this thing.
Which is unfair. They're trying to recover on the outside. Sless had no business with any of that.
And Sless is going to dive, and LSD, he just popped some of his special candies. He's going to dive with them.
Oh, I'm sure that's prescription.
It's like spinach to Popeye. What? Wait a minute! What was that about? Take your spotlight.
You don't do it!
Yeah!
You were right all along.
I love Sless Taylor.
And just feeding Lenny Dimas into the business. DDT. It's a formality at this point. And Nate and Sless shake hands. Can you believe it? I'm not sure what happened in the course of this matchup, but something just snapped inside of Sless Taylor. He got fed up with Dimas, and Sless Taylor's now apparently come to grips with the fact that the business was right.
Well, Joe, it may have been a rough road. It may not have. Sometimes the ends justify the means. Sometimes you get where you need to go. You just don't take the path you intended. But you're looking at the business, and it just added one hell of a member, a guy that can go to the ground, a guy that has all the technical skill in all the world, Sless Taylor. And this is a beautiful thing. This is turning out to be a great event and a great show.
And you saw Sless motion, no more dives. You got to wonder if what we just saw was a ploy. I'm not sure what's going through the mind of Sless Taylor. We need some answers. Well, it looks like business just picked up in Premier.
Well, you heard them. They were right all along. It may have taken a while, but I could not be happier for Sless Taylor that he's seen the light. I'm interested to see what happens next with Sless Taylor now that he's on the right path.